So this is the sequel to episode 29. Oh, and by the way, because we have these back-to-back episodes, it's because we started a new game on the show. It's an opportunity for each HO to present a hypothetical scenario, either from their own life or something that they've thought of, that is a no-win situation, and the other HOs randomly are selected from a hat to be the recipient of that scenario, and then they have to describe how they would survive it, how they would navigate it successfully. And then we all critique them, make fun of them, and people's feelings get hurt. This is where we left off. Pierce, who is a windbag, is going to tell a story, the saga of something that happened to him with a girl in the gym that only leads to shame and embarrassment. Once again for Pierce. Pierce will be joined, that's me, by 11, Red, and Beige again on this. Observational humor might be a category for this show. I've even seen it listed as self-help. That one I'm not sure about, but if we help anybody help themselves, that would just be icing on top of somebody's that check that. I'm not saying that the icing is on top of somebody's. I'm just saying like that would be an additional benefit to what we're really doing here, which is just really are getting together to laugh at the things that happen in everyday life that are sometimes hard to laugh at. And by doing so, we think we might be providing a service. So just to make it crystal clear, it's not like any person is getting icing put on them. They're in their birthday suits just being doused with icing. That was not the intention with my wordsmithing there. I mean, don't worry. I'm not worried. Nobody be worried. Everything's fine. We hope that you enjoy this. Shut your voice hole, Pierce. Let's do this.
Heroes of
humility, 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 humility. This is not a charade. This is real. These words you are about to hear are coming from real humans on a mission to save the human race from itself. Buckle up while these delusional heroes of humility, aka HOs, attempt to right the wrongs in everyday human behavior. So she said, hey, I can tell you're not doing well. What's going on? So I told her, I said, well, I broke up with somebody. I was dating them for a while. And she's like, here's what we're going to do. I was like, what is this?
I like where this is going already.
We've already learned Red is a hoe. Okay. I'm sorry to say.
Wow.
So if you're a hoe, this is going to be a very easy scenario for you, Red.
All right.
Or 11, sorry. So I said, well, I just looked at her and she's like, here's what we're going to do. You go get cleaned up and changed. I'm going to go get cleaned up and changed. I'm going to meet you back here. My car, she pointed out where her car was, and we're going to go out tonight. And I was like, all right. I was like, okay, I'm down. Let's see. And she was very pretty. So I go up, I get cleaned up and everything, come back down, and she's coming out, and she was more amazing. So we get into the car. We go to this restaurant, and she pulls out, the only way I can think of it is like that Corilla DeVille cigarette that had like a piece of plastic. You put the cigarette in, and it's like
Virginia Slims.
Yeah, it's like 10 feet long. And she had this thing. And just to give you an idea, she was
showing off her class.
She was kind of classy.
How dare you talk bad about her?
She was kind of classy, but she was way out of my... Like, she was like a James Bond lady,
Yeah.
Like what you would picture going up to James Bond, and he'd be like,
sounds like a villain.
Shaken, not stirred, and she'd be like, she'd tell him what's up or whatever. And I wasn't like James Bond at this time. I wanted to be like James Bond, but she's like, well, what would you like to do tonight? Oh, and she also had a very thick accent.
Oh, wow. Another one
from where?
She was
Eastern European.
No, she was.
Oh man, I thought she was like.
She was
Romanian.
Latin American. Yeah. She was Latin.
Oh, okay.
So she had a very thick accent. I don't want to say Cuban. It was,
Colombian?
I think it was more, maybe like Mexican. It was Latin America.
Medellin.
So she just said, I said, I don't know if I'm up for staying out too late. And she's like, I'm not taking you home. And she was driving and everything. And I'm like, well, so I came up with the reason I couldn't stay out late. I was like, well, I got to go I got some errands. I was supposed to go to Costco tonight and do some stuff. And she's like,
Maybe Bed
I know,
Bath and
this sounds
Beyond.
ridiculous, right?
Gotta shampoo my hair.
Every time I tell my stories, I can see Red's just like, what the hell is going on? So I said,
I can't go home with this beautiful lady. I have to go to Costco.
yeah, I gotta go to Costco. Hey, it is Costco, dude.
They may run out of 100 count fucking wipes or
Hey, don't make me sound like a punk bitch. This is the
paper
way.
towels.
I'm just gonna be honest. Okay, so I said, look, I get, and she's, and then I was like, well, I left my Costco card, and she's like, I'll take you to Costco.
Oh my god!
I know, dude. Look, this girl is getting very aggressive. So I was like,
you poor
know.
thing. You poor thing.
So I said, well, she's like, I'm going to take you right down the street was, what's the, to me, Costco's up here. What's
Sam's Club.
Yeah, Sam's Club. To me, Sam's Club was like, and it might even be in price line
Damn,
or
you're
something.
a Costco elitist, dude.
I was kind of elitist, and I was like, I don't want to. So she's like,
love Sam's
I'll
Club.
take you. I'll take you. We're going to go to Sam's Club. I have a So we went to Sam's Club.
She's
that was it.
eliminating
That
all
was
your
it.
excuses.
I mean, she had kids.
Yeah, she was taking away all my
Pearson
excuses.
did it at that point. Sam's Club? Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I
You're
can't.
out.
I can't go out
He's
with
like,
you.
that's worse than armpit
You don't even
hair.
have a Costco executive membership. This is over. So we go to the huge warehouse, and I'm getting some stuff, and I'm like gonna fill her car with this stuff. She
Hope you got a big trunk.
because I'm about to put my life-size supply of pickles in it. Sorry.
And this is, you've literally met this woman
Yeah, we
about
just
20
met.
minutes
Right.
before, and you're
And she
loading
wanted-
her.
Did she buy all your stuff?
She wanted me to. No, I wasn't. It wasn't that bad. She wanted me to tell her
Did
about
she offer?
the girl and how I broke up. No, she offered the car. We went in there, and I thought, this isn't very much of a date. And I said, I'm probably not a lot of fun to be around. I actually did care about the person I had broken up with too. That's also a part of this. I felt like I was kind of cheating on her, but because I thought we were going to get back together, so I felt a little bit bad. But this girl was very, like persuasive, and she would do things while we were eating. I'll tell you the rest of this because this is a scenario for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go and I get so we decide to buy each other presents in Sam's Club. So that it's kind of cool. Like we'll have like
This
I'll
is
get
a
something and she'll get
weird
something
first
for
date.
me.
It's a
Yeah, I know.
deep love
Pretty
story. That's what this is.
So I picked out something for her and she picked out something for me, and it was kind of. And now we're having a good time. We're laughing and everything. We're having a good time. I remember even thinking maybe I should buy something that's perishable because I'm gonna get that home. I know it's ridiculous, but I was like, I gotta get something cold.
I need some
because,
milk.
dude, she was very aggressive. She was very aggressive.
She may want to have sex.
Yeah, she might want to touch my special place, and I'm not ready for this.
You don't go in my no square.
My no square. So we go. So I didn't get anything like that, and so she wanted to go to a bar after that. So we went and got some. I think we had like dessert there. So we had dessert, and
Yeah, you did.
now she's trying to be very, I want to be respectful of my beauty, so I'm not going to go into too many details here, but she put her foot up on my seat, and then she dropped something on her chest, which was kind of exposed. And then she did that thing where she wiped it off and then started licking it off of her finger. And she tried to give it to me. So here's my question to you. All right. We go out that night. She basically tried to aggress me. She tried to aggress me. Okay. And I said, let's just, okay, we're going to go out a few more times. I told her I got to get up. I don't know why it was that I was like, there was something about this that was just way too aggressive.
Oh my God.
So I said, so we went out a couple more times, and she started to call me at work. Now I worked at how do I say this? I worked at a job that was very strict.
Oh, Blockbuster.
A very bureaucratic, okay? And you shouldn't be getting calls at your job, all right? She was calling me, and I could tell she was tipsy. It was like 1 p.m, right? And these kind of things were also... See, I was always a guy that kind of looked between the lines and looked past the stuff because I was like, it was like the French girls. It's too much, So I'm like looking at it, maybe like a Seinfeld episode where I'm like, what's going on? Is she...
Yeah. Let me find something wrong with her.
something wrong.
Find a reason why she's dangerous.
So she
She already likes Sam's Club.
one day she calls me and
Big
she's like,
cigarette. Big cigarette.
I'm going to tell you
Big
something.
cigarette.
She
Strike
says,
two.
I'm going to tell you this, and you may not want to go out with me anymore after this, but I got to tell you
I'm a
because
dude.
I really like you.
Oh.
I really like you.
Yeah.
And she said, I was afraid. I'm afraid to tell you this. And I said, it's all right. You can tell me what's going on. And she said, when I told you I was a cocktail waitress, I really dance. And I'm a dancer. And I'm like, oh, you're a dancer.
Yeah,
I'm just
the waltz.
idiot. Oh, you dance for
Are you a ballerina?
Yeah, she's
Little Pierce was
Little
like
ballroom
"I was thinking
dancing there.
ballerina.
There's
He's like,
wrong
I
with
have a little box.
in
with
my
20
mind. I'm
that
thinking,
dances.
oh well, do people? I'm sure
Nutcracker.
everybody's dancing. You're enjoying your dance. What's the big deal? She's like, well, I'm
An exotic
a
dancer.
stripper. Yeah, and I was like,
I'm
whoa.
in love with
the
the
stripper.
stripper.
I know.
So my question is to you: when you find out that this girl that you're going out with, who really likes you and who's put the moves on you, is a stripper, look how happy he is already, dude. It's pretty easy. I
can't wait to answer this.
Pretty easy for him. I'm just wondering what you would do, and I'm actually wondering each of you guys what you would do.
Here is the thing.
All right. I felt bad, by the way, even making this a issue.
I would not have gone to Sam's Club with her
Okay.
because
Costco.
it was Sam's Club.
What
No,
would
I'm
you
saying
have
you
done
would've
instead of going to Sam's Club? Costco.
Uh,
You would have demanded Costco.
no,
Oh,
we would have went and had some drinks or something, and then.
knock at the boots.
But
Oh, you
even
took
if
a
we did go to
pause.
Sam's,
Okay.
as soon as something dripped on her chest, and
Yeah.
she looked down to scoop it up, she would have looked over at me,
And your
I
pants would have been down?
I would have already been naked completely.
Yeah. Mhm. It's interesting. Another hoe in the group. A real hoe.
So
Not
Because
an HOH, but
Yeah.
an HOE.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone knows.
I
Like,
get it.
yeah,
if you're trying to be with someone, if you're really interested, are you trying to like get down an
First
hour
night?
after knowing each other?
Yeah.
No,
Well-
you're not. You're getting to know each other and all that stuff.
She had told me that weeks before she had thought about talking to me, she saw in the gym, but I just, like I said, I've talked to you on the last episode, or was that this one? No, last one, about the gym. The gym to me is you're in there to do something and out. So evidently this, had been brewing for a little while.
Yeah.
So-
I don't even think she would have been able to tell me she was a stripper. We wouldn't have been talking no more.
You already been stripping together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been stripping together.
I can twerk.
Well-
It's phenomenal.
when you guys went when you
This was
guys
an
went
easy
back to
one
the
for
room and saw how she took off her clothes, then maybe you would say, "Oh, she's a stripper." Who knows? Or
never
maybe
got
when
to-
you would have seen the pole in the bedroom for her practice. I don't know. I mean,
I always think
Yeah.
these stories are very
So-
funny when
well-
you're not in them, but when you're in the story and somebody is like aggressive to a point where you're like, this could be this. Did you ever see the movie? Not the one with Sharon Stone, but the other one where she like tries to kill Kurt Douglas.
Basic Instinct.
It wasn't Basic Instinct. There's another one where he basically is fighting for his life.
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. That's what it's like, dude.
That wasn't Sharon
No, I
Stone,
shouldn't.
that
I don't
was
make it
somebody
sound
else.
like I'm. This is ridiculous because it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, these are.
Well,
this
you're
is
going
really
straight
happened.
into murder, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's what I felt like. There
Pretty
was.
big.
She was pretty, and she was calling me, drunk during the day. I mean, it was a work day. I was like, oh gosh, but I know I don't mean to be too judgy if people like to get hammered during the one in the
No,
afternoon.
yeah, that's fine, but it's not for you.
It wasn't my cup of tea. It was like the
right.
hair under the
I wouldn't like it
armpit.
either.
Yeah.
It's kind of a turn off,
I'd be-
right?
yeah.
It's kind of a turn off.
Kind of
And
attract hairy alcoholics.
She was also like her inhibitions.
If-
she didn't have inhibitions, like calling me at work, it was a place. It was a very critical place of business, and I couldn't. I was like, it got me a little bit of static. Too,
She
at my
was she
job.
was tired of the Costco Sam's Club games. She wanted to get
She
right
wanted
down.
more. She wanted
to
more than the
breast tax.
sample.
Yeah.
She's been eyeing that piece of meat we call Pierce on the gym for many, many months, and she saw the opportunity to pounce. When you
Well-
look down, like, oh, okay,
She saw
I can come
a
to the
victim.
rescue.
Okay, my
A
thing
weekend.
is, like a girl like that, that's not relationship material.
Right.
No.
You know that.
Right.
So just do what you get. Just do what you're gonna do and leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like if a girl's gonna do that on like be that aggressive, first of all. Second of all, if she's willing to, if she's DTF within a few hours, not relationship material.
Once
period.
again,
And then strike 3, stripper.
once again, the moral of the story
you're not
is
going to marry this
that
lady,
you make
so have
Pierce
fun.
sound like a punk bitch. Is a,
Pretty much.
There's
yeah.
2 scenarios now that we.
But I think you're. I
it
think
didn't
you're,
always go like that.
I think you're
but in
always.
these 2 stories.
I think you're
These 2
always
stories.
putting more value on that than what that particular interaction calls for.
okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like
You
you are
would've-
not looking to have a future with this lady, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're just gonna jump into a situation with them, play with. I don't want to make you sound like that. I'm just saying I didn't want to lead her on. I could tell there wasn't anything that was going to evolve for this, and I didn't
so
want to
you've
lead
never
her
been
on.
in a point in your life where you're
I
like,
didn't mean to lead you.
no, but I'm saying you've never been in a point where you're like, yeah, this isn't going anywhere, but I'm going to have fun.
I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, I don't.
You've
no,
never
because
been
I
there.
don't want to. Because eventually you're going to have to break up with that person.
That's not a breakup, dude.
No,
that's a
that's not.
hookup.
Yeah, but if one of us,
Right?
yeah, I don't know.
I
man.
mean,
Which I feel she was just trying to do.
exactly.
Yeah.
well,
from the
but
beginning.
remember what she told me. She's like, "This has been hard. I want to tell you because I really like you." So that's not one night stand talk. That's like, we're gonna. That's where we're gonna get more serious. Talk.
She was trying to get in your pants, Pierce.
No,
But
that
that
was
was-
before. This
but
was
that
a
was
couple
well
days.
after.
This was,
Struggled
this
with
was
the
like a
Sam's
couple
Club
weeks.
But that was
after.
well after the
Yeah,
first night.
Yes, yes.
The first
yes.
night was just a hookup, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, but then see, it would evolved, and then eventually, I already knew. See, I did the math.
You already
quickly.
knew that she was smitten.
Well, no, I knew. I
she
I
couldn't
knew
help
the
herself.
math that I wasn't going to be with this girl long. She wasn't, like you said, that kind of a girl where you thought you could see something evolving into a longer thing. So I just didn't want to get into. And honestly, I mean, this sounds shallow, but also she wasn't like, she was pretty. I mean, but she just wasn't like my type pretty. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think we can all sit here and say we've been involved with women previously in our lives where we're like, yeah, I'm not falling for her because I know she's going to fuck me over in the end. Or she's just,
She's a hoe for show.
well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but like there, where there's just been
It's
one
just
that is
not
like,
a thing.
it's
You're
just not
not
a
a
thing.
matchup.
Like you might be attracted to them, you might have feelings, but you're like, no, because I know,
Like
I
that-
know the way this is going to go, so no.
There's nothing wrong with her being a stripper. That's fine.
Yeah,
Go ahead. But
that's true. That's true.
you and your lifestyle ain't
That you don't jive
isn't
with
matching. Yeah, you're not jiving with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone else could like.
You're not the kind of
that.
you're not the kind of guy she's normally around.
Yeah.
That's a different type of person.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And yeah.
And so you would have to be able in your life and who you are as a person to do that and just leave it at that. And if you couldn't ever do that, then that's where you would have a problem, I guess.
Well,
you
that
know?
was a good way to sum it up, man.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a Jerry Springer of the hose right there.
Yeah.
That was well done. And I'm being serious. That was good because you nailed it right on the head, man.
Right. Because if you get attached at that point and then like
What if I start to like her? I mean, and I know that,
Exactly.
and then this is always kind of bothering me in the back of my.
And probably if you've ever been intimate with a woman before, there's feelings attached to that for you. Wow. Damn, dude.
Pin drop.
I impressed myself.
Well, the thing
Shit.
is, Dr. Beige over here.
Dr. Beige.
Well, the thing is if you're just not hitting it off with somebody and you could tell why, there's lots of people, man. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I'm not down with that, dude. And I could tell she wanted to do something more was the point.
And you look at somebody like that, and I would say like, okay, she's a stripper, all that stuff. So what she knows to use to get you is sex.
Yep.
No, so that's what she's going
She
with
was
immediately, and she knows
Reaching into her bag of
that's her,
tools,
right.
and that
I
is
almost
her bag
think-
of
that's
tools.
what she does.
I almost
And
think
so-
I don't know what she saw in me, honestly, but I think sometimes
an easy mark.
victim. You also see.
Oh,
You also see somebody that I think some ladies. It's been my humble experience that you don't mean to do this, but when you say no, it's like they want that more.
you're playing hard to get.
No, I'm not playing it. It's just.
You are hard to get.
I'm hard to get. Yeah, I guess I'm just hard to get. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds ridiculous.
All right, you
Little
guys-
prude.
Somebody else's turn, I think.
time wise, yeah. Let's move it on. I got one now. So
Okay,
I'll
go
pick.
for it. Pick.
So I get
Sorry,
either
guys, mine
red
took too
or
long.
Who do I get? Either Red. Well, you already got one, right? So Pierce or Red here. So I got Red again.
He said it like he was kind of like,
yeah.
No, just kidding.
Okay, so this is another based on a true story. So you probably saw this in the military or maybe, academy-like situations where you are around a group of guys for a long period of time. And you kind of get to know how these guys are, right? And you also know what their personal life is like outside of the academy or boot camp or whatever. So let's say in this situation, you got some buddies and they're going around and being man whores at the academy and everything. And then lo and behold, you find out they have a wife and kids and everything.
Oh, I'm not cool with it, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So awful. What are you doing in that situation? Are you diming this guy out? Or are you just keeping your mouth shut and saying, I'm not getting involved?
No, I just said,
what are you?
I'm sorry. It's Red.
It's Red. Okay. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Because this is
we'll go after Red.
Because this is happening to me.
That's my bad.
Like me. Okay. So like.
You got to make eye contact with Red. Look at Red. Red, you look at Beige.
Yeah.
Beige, you look at Red.
Now this is
all right.
Yeah,
here we go.
It's between you two guys.
This is, I've been making eye contact with a lot of dudes today. So I say that because I've seen this while I've been at in these situations myself. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm just the type of person, I would never do that. I think that's egregious to do that, whatever. Like, I'm not cool with that either. Like, I think that's awful. Like, you have a wife and kids at home, right? So when I see that, I'm disgusted by it, that these guys are doing that stuff. So I know in the past, I've heard of situations where there have been guys that have dimed other guys out to the wife when she comes for like graduation or something, being like, hey, look, this is what your dude's up to, And that's obviously a great way to get into a fight and everything else. I mean, that's going to have a lot of consequences. But on the flip side of that, I wouldn't be cool. I'm saying what I think now. What I did then was probably not what I would do now. I didn't say anything, right? I was a young kid, whatever. Now I'd be very tempted to say something because I just think that's wrong. And I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say, but what would you do if you say you had a friend or not even a friend, but somebody you knew and they're doing that kind of stuff?
No, me personally, I've been in that scenario multiple times. I honestly wouldn't say anything, to be honest with you. Especially, I mean, I'll give a couple different like flips of it, but in that scenario that you originally talked about, where you're out with a group of buddies who you become recent friends, and you learn that okay, he's married, but of course you've never maybe met the lady, you don't know who she is, you've never even met his kids, but he has kids and a wife or whatever. Why I say I wouldn't say anything simply because you don't know, because maybe he hasn't told you what their marriage is going through. Hell, maybe I've even known people to have open marriages where they are allowed to do that stuff. So that's why I say I wouldn't say nothing. Maybe after the event happened or whatnot, next time we go out, we're like, dang, dude, that's pretty.
Don't you have a wife and kids?
Yeah, like that's crazy. You can do that, or is your wife cool with that? And just to hear what he says. But to be honest with you, that's what I say, because I've heard this. I've been in that scenario before where, I mean, it's another thing if like...
It makes you uncomfortable at the least. At least it does me, because it's like, I just think it's wrong. And it makes me uncomfortable to see
Now, how about like, it's different though, like if the girl was your sister or your cousin and you're out with your buddies and he's now making out with another girl and he's your girlfriend, the girlfriend is your cousin. Now you feel obligated, like, dude, that's messed up. You shouldn't be doing that, my cousin.
But see, I guess I don't draw a line like that because she's somebody's cousin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, she's still a person, dude. Like, even if she's not your cousin or your sister, that's still messed up. She's somebody's. She still matters. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's the way I look at it.
Well, that and to me, I also feel like it's also... You don't know what that couple's gone through, and then that's his thing. Now, I'm not like helping him do it, if that makes sense.
Okay, but then they come to the graduation, they act like a happy couple. All that is going on. It's disgusting.
Now, when you say,
I've seen exactly.
Now,
so I'm sure we all have.
When I see that, I'm like, yeah, they don't have a marriage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not an. My assumption is that he's just effing around. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
and they're not, it's not cool, and it's not this and that. And so when I see it, it disgusts me. Would I say something? It's hard for me to say I would, because you're annihilating.
Yeah. That's a situational decision. It's tough because you think of the repercussions of that.
Oh yeah, like
it's like
not only him,
not that it's your fault, but
everybody.
There's so much responsibility that comes with that,
right? And everybody, not only just him, but everybody else that you maybe are in that, they would look at you differently. Like this guy.
If it was a friend of mine, hell yeah. I'm blowing you up, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like my buddies know I'm not about that, but my buddies aren't about that either.
Right.
Like I'm not going to hang around.
Like I don't choose to hang around shitbags.
I would not be around shitbags. Even at work, like at the office, and these weren't team guys, these were just office guys, but they sit around and they talk about women every day, nonstop, all the time.
Right.
And they'll be sitting there telling stories about their whatever they're doing, and I told you, I was telling you guys earlier how I'm just a loudmouth. I call people on their shit, and I turn around, well, what does your wife and kids think about that? And then, all silence, Yeah. And then,
dude, I mean,
these dudes don't talk about me, and then they're like trying to blow me up at work and get me in trouble. I'm like, I'm squared away, dude. You guys aren't fucking with me.
I'll be honest. Like, I even had a situation as a kid, like I was like 21, 22, and there was this girl that I was dating that I was into and everything, but we never became like serious or anything. But then she started dating somebody else, and she had a boyfriend, but she still liked me, and she would always invite me over to her apartment. But then I would go over, and her boyfriend would be there, and it was just awkward. Like I would be over there, and it would be like, hey, yeah, this is this is Beige, and I'm really into him. It's just like I'm just some dude that she invited to hang out, as a friend, like a group of friends. And so there was one time that like I left, and she walks me out, and she starts kissing me as her boyfriend's sitting inside the apartment. Jeez. And I pull away, and I start laughing, and she's like, "What are you laughing about?" And I said, "I'm just thinking what your boyfriend would think if he saw this right now." And she's like, and I liked her, but I couldn't do that. I thought it was wrong what she was doing as her boyfriend was sitting inside.
Immediately, I wouldn't like her anymore.
Yeah, just because because you like somebody doesn't mean that they are necessarily a good suited person or healthy or good for you.
So I mean that, and so that was to the point where it's like, she was attractive. She kind of, I don't know. I mean, she reminded me, I guess, of like Heather Locklear, or like that's kind of what she looked like. You know what I mean back then. And she, I did have feelings for her back then, but then I'm like, I couldn't do that because I knew that her boyfriend was sitting literally on the other side of that door, and she was outside kissing me. But like 11 said,
didn't it go away a little bit when you saw that she was willing to do that? Because that is...
Yeah, well, and even if she did break up with him, she's with you, who's to say she's going to do that to you?
And that's a big part of the reason.
She's going to walk outside that door when you're sitting inside one day, and you're going to be like, is she out there fucking making out with someone?
Yes, and that is what I referenced earlier, why there have been women in my past that I have had feelings for, but I could never do that and she is one of those that I'm referencing because I just couldn't trust that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I felt like she would devastate me at some point in time. So I'm like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? And so, but that's where I stand on that whole, the cheating and the infidelity and stuff like that. And that's why I get so pissed when I see that with guys that I've been in long, working environments with, and seeing how they're freaking dogs, man.
Plays a cesspool.
Yeah.
Well, no, you got to be careful too, because you don't want to be wrapped into their story. If, let's say, down the road, it comes out that he's cheating and the wife finds out, and now like it comes into the work scenario where the wife is calling the work upset. So now everybody around the job knows that this guy was cheating on his wife. And, those couple times Red was out with him. Now you get wrapped up in the story and you're a witness to like possibly what would happen. So now you're kind of
anytime I've ever been in that situation, I remove myself immediately.
Well, and that's what that's honestly what I do. It's like, if I see a dude like that, like I'm like, you're a piece of shit. Yep. I don't even want to be your fucking friend
I go
anymore,
tell him,
dude.
go say whatever. And
I'm like, you're a piece of shit. I'm not not even going to hang out with you anymore, dude. See you later.
Like,
you know?
Fuck you for putting me in this situation.
And there's people that, like, you know, when you're in those situations, you know, you're like, that guy's a fucking dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to go out
you can't
hit,
trust him.
And you can't trust him. And like, I saw people like that, and I'm like, I'm not going to hang out with you on the weekends, dude. Because you're going to drag me into some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not even going to put myself in that position.
One of these things that in terms of, to follow up on what Red was saying, it is, like you said, 11, a hard case-by-case thing. But, you know, you definitely are married to the problem once you intervene. And it's nice if you know more about what's going on, because if you have more control, if you know more about the context, then it allows you to have more influence over the variables. If you don't have any idea what's going on, and you just go up and say something, it becomes more challenging. And I think in that situation where you don't have a lot of control or know, one of the best things you can do is confront the guy. Just say, look, dude, my impression is this is your scenario. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just letting you know it doesn't look good and it looks bad. So just, you know, I'm telling you, and I won't be able to hang out with you anymore. And sometimes that might be the other way, the second best to telling the wife, is that you let him know. And if that's not enough and you don't feel like you've done enough of a service, then maybe you go tell. But
like 11 said, like, I could tell some dude that, and you can't fucking trust what they say.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, they'll tell you, oh yeah,
especially if they've
the
lied
wife,
already.
you know, the wife and I, we're not together anymore. You know, we're getting divorced or this and that, and then it's like
an anonymous tip,
and and
go get a burner phone,
right?
There you go.
And so it's like,
That's
even
not a bad
if you
idea.
tell me something, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to believe you.
Yeah, an anonymous tip might be.
And so at that point, I think you're right. It's just best to like extricate yourself from that situation, you know, and it's like find some other people to hang out with that aren't complete shitbags.
Yeah.
So
usually at those, I don't even hang out really with anybody.
Same here. I might find like one or two dudes that are cool, maybe. And then
but
like
I'm not hanging out with the big groups and going.
No, I'm not the because there's those
and
groups that, you know, they're the off site guys. Like every time they're off doing whatever, it's like, no, you just chill, put your head down and work, dude. You know, get through it. That's it. I'm not about that. I guess it's like you said. It's just we're all adults. What situation are you going to put yourself in?
Yes. What are you willing to? You've got to be willing to take.
Especially where I know what you're talking about, where you were at, and all that.
Yeah, and we all know
there's a lot of repercussions, dude. That could come down.
Yeah.
Negatively on you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Of course.
So that's why it's a delicate situation.
That's why it's easiest to say, I'm out.
Yeah,
it is, but is it right? Is it wrong? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
You don't want to,
but that doesn't mean that you still don't struggle once the time comes and the happy wife and kids come and you see it.
Yeah,
that still makes you feel a certain way. You know,
it makes me hate that motherfucker.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
fuck you for putting me in this situation,
exactly.
dude.
Well, that's why I say you never know. Like I remember one of the guys I worked with, I met. To me, I would consider him a dedicated family guy. When other guys were going out to go hang out at bars and stuff like that, he was going home to hang with his family. And then they even had like a party over at his place, barbecue, and you got to meet his kids and his wife. And then always dedicated guy. It comes time to when we're all finished with the class that we were doing, and he kind of seems down and out. I was like, what's going on? Oh man, I'm graduating, I'm going back home, but I'm having to get a divorce.
Wow.
In my mind, like, this guy was the epitome of a dedicated husband. How could it have been something he did? It definitely wasn't him cheating on his wife. But in the same flip side, maybe she was doing something she wasn't supposed to. But then again,
and I've seen
you're
that
assuming
a million times as well.
Well, and I'm sure you've seen that in the military, especially. I mean, we've all heard those stories where dudes are at boot camp or on deployment, and it's like, what the fuck?
But then again, I'm also assuming, I don't know the reason why they were splitting up. But in my mind, like, they had I don't even think their youngest was maybe 1 year old that, you know, we got to meet. And I was kind of like, whoa, like, definitely this guy was not caddying out around on the town on his wife. This guy was the epitome. Every time we had time off, he was with his family. So I never knew. And I can't sit here and assume all those things, but you hear the flip side and you're kind of like, oh man, you kind of feel bad for his scenario. Like, I think he had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and now he's splitting up, and you're just like, wow, this guy. you get the whole guy that's catting around on his wife while he's away, and then they meet and she finds out, and then you kind of expect the whole divorce thing because she finds out that he's catting around. But on the flip, that's why I say you don't want to put yourself in a bad scenario witnessing things like that, because I've heard of scenarios where guys will go travel outside of their area and not necessarily like try to meet a girlfriend, but even sample some of the local goods, if that makes sense, whether they're paying for it or not paying for it. And that you don't want to be part of at all, because there's
it pisses me off if somebody puts you in that situation to even witness it. You know what I mean? Like that's
absolutely, because they should know your character and go,
can't hang out with them anymore.
It was kind of an unwritten rule on the team because we traveled all the time that was not allowed, and it was not tolerated by any of us,
because it puts everybody else in a shitty situation.
Yeah. And it's like, and we know your wife, and we're not
cool with you doing that.
With you doing it. Yeah. It's not happening.
Which is great. So that's a great reinforcement to have.
We would all go out together, and we'd all go home together. We'd all get stupid drunk. And
right.
When we had time to go out.
And it's good for you guys to feel that way about each other, because if you do anything, this dude's gonna rat you out. And or maybe not rat you out, but basically think you're a piece of shit.
Even if someone got too drunk and they start doing something stupid, no, two of the guys are going to go over there, slap him in the face, and fucking haul him away.
Right. Yeah.
Like, my wife...
We're not going to allow you to do that to your wife or blow up your family. So.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife was in a scenario like that many, many years ago. She went out, big group of friends, it was just girls only. They go out and party it up. They're in Las Vegas going to different things. And one of the friends she knew was married, had kids. And all of a sudden, she's making out with this dude on the dance floor.
Oh, jeez.
So my wife, because she knows the husband and the kids and everything, she knows the scenario, she whacks the dude on the side of the head with their purse. Hey, what are you doing? She's feeling like her friend must be drugged or too drunk and just not realizing what she's doing. My wife was like, stop it. Like, this dude's taking advantage of her friend. And her friend reacted like, what are you doing? I have an open marriage. I'm allowed to do this. And
I don't even get that concept, bro. Like,
my wife first off thought, that's BS, because I've been around you guys before, and it's not like you're dating another dude and the husband knows. Like, you're texting your little side Sancho on the side with the husband being there. This sounds like she's getting a line of BS saying that, oh yeah, we have an open marriage. Here she thought she was being the hero by saving her friend by making a bad mistake, to the friend now calling security to get my wife kicked out of the place because she hit the guy with the purse, right? And so now she's just all upset. My wife being really upset because now she feels like she's gotten involved into this scenario, and she knows she doesn't want to be put in the scenario where she's got to either tell the husband or be around.
Should have told you, and then you tell him.
And be like one of those things where it's like, she didn't want to be didn't want to be told, but then two, didn't want to. Now she has a circle of friends that feel like.
I look at it like, especially with friends, would she want one of your friends to tell her if you were doing the same thing?
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That, and absolutely, like you just said, where sometimes when there's drinking involved, you go out with your friends. If somebody makes a mistake, you go and, hey, sorry, girl, my bro's married.
And at the same time, if everybody else was okay with her doing that, I'm bouncing.
Yeah, the thing was is that none of the other friends knew that she, quote, had an open marriage. So that's why.
Did she really have one?
Was that the truth?
Not that we know of.
Yeah, no,
that sounds like a lie.
That was
dude.
bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's why that's what my wife felt about it, and so she.
So are they friends anymore?
No.
Exactly.
Because of that.
Right.
Because of that.
Exactly.
I'm like Beige, though. I don't see how that can be a very effective, because any relationship's built on trust.
That's not even a marriage.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
I don't know what that is, but that's not a marriage.
Your roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have, I think we have one person left to go. Is that right?
Red, right? You get a pick? Or no? 11?
I don't know.
Who's used mine? I didn't know I had to have two.
Okay. That's all right, man. We can
I'll come up with some gems the next time.
All right.
I apologize, everybody.
Well, we're running long anyways.
Fred's got one.
Red's got one.
I've got an okay one.
Okay,
for some reason, we're kind of on this same scenario, but
I didn't mean to get into all these guy-girl scenarios.
Yeah, but you know what? It came to mind. I was dating my wife at the time, so this is when we were really new in our relationship, and I had a couple other friends that I had worked with that we become friends, and both of them were married. but we're probably mid-20s at this time. We would go out several different times in the bar areas and dance clubs and dance and things like that. And my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was kind of new to the environment, and we'd go out, and there was clubs that because I, as a single guy, I would go out with the married couples because we were co-workers and we'd all hang out. And so this time, when we were out at this place, we were all dancing and stuff, and we would all kind of dance in a group. But it was all PG. Like, there was no bumping and grinding and things like that on other than your own significant other. Well, usually in the bar environment, maybe this turn I would buy drinks for everybody, and then the next turn the next guy, and the next turn the next guy would return the favor. So this time we're dancing, been there for a long time. It was my turn to go buy a round of drinks. So I leave my girlfriend on the dance floor with my buddies and their wives, and I go back to go get some drinks. I come back, and then my girlfriend had a really kind of like terrified look on her face, like something happened. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, your friend, and she knows that I'm friends with and coworkers with these guys. She goes, yeah, your friend, she was wearing a dress, kept kind of brushing the bottom of her butt cheek with his hand.
This is your wife?
This is my girlfriend. My girlfriend, now my wife.
Okay.
And
oh gosh,
I hear that, and now again, it's my coworker. It's not just some random dude. And so I'm like, so and he's married. Right. His wife is there. So I'm like,
this is horrible.
What?
Man.
Like, what?
Like it's
hell?
on purpose.
Well, now I think back to it, and I'm like, wait a second. Isn't that kind of weird? Like, before the drinks, he kept wanting to try to dance with her, and he was telling me to dance with his wife. And the wife was like, kind of started bumping and grinding and things like that. And so I'm trying to like run through the scenarios in my head, like, what the hell is going on
Putting
here?
out the feelers, man.
So I go up. I'm like, here you're in a bad scenario. Like, one, I have the honor of my girlfriend that I really like. And two, I work with these two dudes. And now I still, even if something happens, I still got to deal with these guys at work, right? So I go up to the guy and I'm like, hey, dude, what's up with that? You made my girl feel really awkward. And it wasn't just once. It wasn't just twice. She felt your hand brush the bottom of her butt cheek by her, under her dress. And he's like, oh, man, it was cool. It was an accident. I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Well, my girlfriend and I decided to leave. But we didn't, at the time, really young, really didn't know that. The two couples that we were also with had been married for already a couple of years. And the only thing my wife and I now, because of course we've talked about it long afterwards, was like, they must be some sort of swinger.
There are a lot of them around here.
And I'm not into that world. Whatever it is. But I wasn't into that world. But I guess that scenario goes to if you were at a dance club with some friends, other couples, and you were dancing. And I guess I didn't pick somebody out. I'll go 11. And you were presented by another couple to come over to their house to, quote, swing. Like, what do you do? One, it's possible coworker. And it's not in the line of work that we do now. Very retail job. It's a coworker. You already know the couple beforehand. They should know that you're not into swinging, but they're inviting you.
What do you do, 11?
Oh, I mean... I go. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I just tell them no. I'd laugh it off and be like, hey, thanks for the compliment, but we're not into that thing, dude. We're not into it.
Yeah, I thought it took a special...
And,
I didn't know. First off, I didn't know what to do.
And if I'm into the whole group sex thing, it's going to be with women. I don't need another.
I don't want to see anybody. Yeah, you're not going to be.
I don't need none of that.
Yeah,
I don't need none of that floating around.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that was a long story with a very easy answer.
Sorry.
No, that was a good.
No, but I mean, being put in that weird, awkward scenario.
You just got to tell people. You almost want to make it. I mean,
that
I would personally appreciate
being asked
a conversation before somebody starts grabbing my girlfriend's ass.
That's messed up, dude.
Like,
well, that's what I felt.
Honestly,
like
if I'm there, like I
would have got
as we've found out, I'm super protective over stuff and I get super violent. So I don't even want to say what.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't need to go there.
Grabbing that dude by the throat, walking him outside.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's just
you're not touching me.
That's just disrespectful.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Like
bad.
we're supposed to be
really
friends. You're supposed to know me, and you're grabbing my girl's ass.
Yeah. It's
At
one
that
thing
point,
because everyone,
like, nah,
especially when
bro.
you're drinking, everyone gets like a little flirty talking, and kind of is joking around, whatever. Okay, that happens. Like people do it. I come off super flirty. I get told all the time, even when I'm not. I'm just being nice,
Yeah.
But my nice comes off as I'm interested in you, which I'm
you
not.
have a very flirtatious smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Pierce has very
but
hard
kidding.
time
I can't
keeping
even-
his hands away.
I can't even tell you how many times I go to the bathroom at a bar or whatever, and my chick gets flocked. Like, I come out and there's like dudes talking, and then as I'm walking over there, I'll just go away. I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers, man.
Well, and that's
you got
frustrating,
to bring
right?
the beast out,
Right, and that's frustrating because it's like you motherfuckers didn't see me sitting here.
No, they know.
and I just
know
went
exactly
to go take a
what
piss.
it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like
They're like, oh, here's the chance. Let's see if she's down with it.
You're a shitbag because like I could see if they just see a single girl at a bar and then they want to go up and talk to her. But you saw her with a dude. Yeah. He leaves for a minute, and you go try to like sharks around blood.
Every once in a while,
you're a piece of shit, dude.
Every once in a while, a guy will see the scenario, and he'll actually come up to me and be like, "No disrespect, sorry, I wasn't doing anything. I was just saying this, and this is the conversation." Okay, I'll let it slide. Yeah. But if you're one of those dudes, that's sitting there like a shark with chum in the water, as soon as I go to the bathroom, and you're trying to move in,
you're a piece of crap.
Yeah,
dude. Like I don't care who it is, man. That's just, I don't care if I don't know that dude.
I know.
Like, I don't know you, but like, it's still somebody's that he cares about, You're a piece of crap.
Brutal, man.
Yeah.
Brutal. Anyway.
And that's why you have to be selective of who you pick as friends because they can drag you down and they can drag you into those situations that you don't want to be in.
And as we were talking about earlier, that's why I don't keep a lot of friends close,
Right.
Like, there's a few, there's select.
Well, and that's what I preach.
A small pool.
And that's what I preach to my kids is like, you don't need all the friends in the high school.
No, you don't.
You need a few good friends that you can count on that share your
two
values.
Two or three good buddies,
right?
Man,
that share your values, aren't going to put you in a bad spot, and that's it.
You remember your high school days or your college days that, especially me having sisters or friends that were just girls, that you might have had a buddy that you hung out with or friends, but there was some that you knew you could not let them drive your sister or your friend that was a girl home without possibly something you might think in your head, like, I don't want to leave that guy with a girl.
You just don't. There's guys you don't trust.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because at least scenarios too where, being a brother or a guy, especially a larger guy, my wife would, hey, can you go walk my friend female to her car at the end of the night? Sure. Yeah, let's go. And in my brain, like, hey, I'm just making sure she's getting home safe. But what other guy would think about, I'm going to
try to make a move.
And now I'm going to try to make a move. And it's like, man, you break that trust. And, but we all had friends that we've gone out in our younger days that you might like, this guy's a cool guy to hang out with, but I would not trust him with hanging out with my...
That's not a part of your circle. It's just, it's someone outside that you just hang out with.
Well, I was thinking especially, now we see the light when we're now in our 40s versus when you're in your 20s and you hang out with just a sampling of people and it's just people that want to go to the same destination.
Well, and a lot of times in your 20s, you just want to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you don't have responsibilities. You don't have commitments in life. You don't have this stuff yet.
I feel like I understood that dynamic at a young age. Yeah, and that's why I kept my circle close. And everyone else, I loved hanging out with them. I loved, we would go out and we would do this, we'd do that, whatever. Meet these people here. Yeah, we're going to be hanging out the whole night. But I knew their place compared to my close circle are like family to me. They're closer than family.
Like I said, it's important they share your values.
And we are still solid to this day. Still text all the time. And they're all out in L.A.
Yeah.
But we're still all family. And those other people, they come and go. Yeah, cool.
Right.
Hang out.
Well, this is going to be a crappy transition, but this has provided people with about 2 hours worth.
Oh my God, was that another 2 hours?
Listening pleasure. So
damn.
If you have to go like on a road trip and you know it's going to be about 2 hours, if you listen to this or the last episode, it should cover you. Our shows won't always be that long, but Beige came back and he is a windbag.
Yeah.
No, dude. We enjoyed it, man, and appreciate all our listeners on Heroes of Humility. This is Pierce signing off with
Beige.
Red out.
11.
Thanks, guys. Stay cool and be kind. All right. Well, we don't have a sequel here, so we will be back in 2 weeks. Thanks again for your support and listening to Heroes of Humility. Feel free to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and follow the show on your favorite podcast app so that you get the next episode and the updates. Take care.